But while I was doing this show, I felt it was a peak of my career, at least that phase of a career as an actor. I felt as an actor, it's exciting, it's great, but you are narrating a story, and it might be a story close to you and so on, but it's a story that you're telling, and it's not necessarily the story you lived. And then there was something in me that wanted to live my story, like do more like left brain activities in my life, or then other times in my life where it's all like right brain stuff. Like for me, the optimum is when these are in balance. If I'm zero creative, life I become a zombie. If I'm all analytical, zero creative, all analytical, so I literally look like a zombie. All the immediate things that come to my mind is people saying, pick one, which I get, but I made a decision about 2 years ago. People say this to amigo. I'm gonna only this life, only with my way. Once we sit through that pain, we have love inside us. And when we discover that love, first we can share the love from here with ourselves and then expand out for everyone.
I just got done recording 2 days of my podcast, the Creative Artist Podcast, here at Hatch.lk, one of the leading startup hubs in Sri Lanka. Because my goal was to be able to tell stories of unique creatives here who are crazy enough to think that they can actually solve problems. To be here at Hatch and be inspired in what I'm doing, and to be able to tell these stories and have this studio and opportunity, I'm super grateful to Hatch. I feel affirmed in my mission to highlight creatives, and when I saw individuals from startups like inviting their own friends to be on here so I can highlight their stories and their unique way of thinking, every single one of them has so much insight to provide to anybody who's watching, anybody who's thinking that they're not good enough to do what they're doing. Seeing stories from doctors who have changed careers into running startups, to journalists, to doing these kinds of things, like, it gives me so much hope to be able to share this to others, to say that, like, wherever you are at, if you're not passionate about what you're doing and you're stuck in your own bubble or whatever, find communities like Hatch, because it is going to be the best thing that you'll do for yourself, because the community here is absolutely amazing. Hatch, thank you so much for the support you provided. I can't wait to show you the amazing stories and the insights your own people are going to share with the world.
Hi, welcome to Creative Artist Podcast. My name is Sheran, and today we are at Hatch, Sri Lanka, a startup hub where they take creativity and technology and coincide together to solve real problems humans are facing in Sri Lanka and around the world. And I'm super excited to have Biman over, somebody I've seen in growing up in college together in St. Thomas's, and just to kind of watch from afar his journey, and then going to an actor, to going into business and sales, and to then starting his own tech company. I'm super excited to introduce you to you. Biman, thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. So, Biman, what do you do and how do you explain to somebody who has no idea about the field you're in? I have a tricky time doing that for myself.
Right.
I do a few things. I We've got a family business. It's in well, it's in painting, waterproofing, chemicals, related, construction sector related services. I'm involved in that. At the moment, I'm playing a support role there, and because there are other stakeholders and all of that. Cool. Um, and then I'm co-founder at a tech company.
Cool.
We do data analytics, reporting, AI automation
Oh, cool.
work. And I also teach acting. But the teaching acting, that was like acting, teaching acting, the arts, the creative arts, performing arts. That was my full-time thing for a few years. But since the last sort of 2 years, that's become part-time, and then now it's kind of like hobby status. And the construction related work and the tech company take up my time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I'm curious here. So you mentioned actor too. So not a lot of people know that. Um, how did you make the transition from all of that to now here?
Man, life happened. um, so transition from acting to
Now, all the way.
so I did a show called Jungle and the Sea. Like I acted in it in Australia. It was a story. This is going to be another run of it. So it is a story in present tense about something that took place in Sri Lanka. Like it's about the war, the last phase of the war. And it was done by one of the leading theaters in Sydney. And I went over there to act in it, and Sri Lankan-Australian writer,
Wow.
and then another Australian director, a mixed sort of Sri Lankan-Australian cast, and other international actors. A great story, like a great in the sense it's great to be part of a story like that, like tell the story.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of truth telling about what took place, and that's something I'm passionate about, and that's close to me. And so when I acted in that show, I was here in Sri Lanka just before that. I flew over there to act in the show, and then we did really well. And I also performed well, I think. And then we won a few awards
Wow.
at the Sydney Theatre Awards, and we also got like best ensemble and all these things,
Very
and
cool.
best new production, best production overall, and best music and things like that. But while I was doing this show, I felt it was like it was a peak of my career, like at least that phase of a career as an actor, and I had reached a peak, and the uh, next one would be perhaps one where I invested myself in Australia, or one of the Western countries, perhaps, right? Not necessarily,
Right.
but I'd go on a creative actor's journey over there. Like I used to have an agent in Australia and London, Sydney and London. So I didn't anymore have these agents. And then it looked like, okay, maybe I'd approach some agents, which I did, and then kind of ride that wave of the success of that show and so on. I saw a few theater companies and agents and all that, and had a great response. But then life happened. I felt that may not be my path, and maybe it's my last time acting, perhaps
Wow.
like in that way. And then I'd have my own other journey. Um, and in some sense, like and I don't like please my actor friends, and I don't take any offense, but I felt like as an actor, it's exciting, it's great, but you are narrating a story,
Right.
and it might be a story close to you and so on, but it's a story that you're telling, and it's not necessarily, the story you lived, right? And then there was something in me that wanted to live my story. Um, I don't know whether that's,
Huh?
like, I don't know, like how like whether that's egoist. I don't know. Well, anyway,
It's how you process.
yeah. So I want to live my story, and I've got this some. I guess I have some crazy ideas. Maybe they're quite average ideas. Maybe they're crazy ideas. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Yes.
And then yeah, I wanted it to be that. And then the economic crisis. I was seeing someone at the time. She was living in like overseas,
Okay.
and that didn't quite work out. Like I wanted to be in Sri Lanka. There was a pull from that end to like um, to be based in a safer economic zone country, and then make more like wiser, like in their mind, wiser decisions for my finances, and probably wiser decisions financially. That gave more stability and so on. And I wasn't making them so, and I was quite passionate and adamant to be in Sri Lanka. So all of this led to that, contributed to that not working out. And then parallelly, uh, the Sri Lankan economy had gone through what it did,
Right.
and then our family business was the business which our family is involved in the construction related sector was also really hit, like
Right.
most of the companies in that space. And my mom was involved in that business, and it wasn't looking too great. And I felt the need to come and support her. And to the credit of my ex-girlfriend there, they also encouraged probably to get away from me. It's like, hey, go help your mom out.
Right.
You know, bro, you ain't making money here. Get out there, make some, do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, came back here, and so started to get involved in that and
Wow.
supportive of that. But I was also like, um, so before I went to act in Australia, like I was in Sri Lanka, I was teaching, I was supporting the family business behind the scenes. So around that time, I was mostly acting and teaching acting, and then I was supporting like on behind the scenes, a little bit of support, not getting too involved. Like didn't want to get my hands in the family thing, and I could see that like the macro conditions of the country, like we're going to go into a crisis, like the construction space, it's gonna be really badly affected, and then our family's income. My brother's involved in that business. My mother's involved in the business. So everyone's income's tied into that. And I felt okay, like it's gonna go. There's a high risk of this going tits up. At that point, like everyone's going to be affected. So I felt this need to, because I'm Australian, I'm a dual citizen.
Okay.
And I was around 31 at the time. Wow, time flies. I'm 38 now. At that time, like I could apply for this. Like an Aussies get like a visa, like a 2-year work visa in the UK.
Okay.
Chamit had been to the UK, and then there's a great art scene, like a strong art scene in the UK. And then he's been to Edinburgh, like to the festival. Then around 2019, I think he told me, like, he was like, bro, make use of this opportunity, go there.
Right.
Did acting a shot.
Right.
But because I saw construction was going to get hit, I went to the UK and got myself an agent, and I did a bit of like small gigs. Whether I was going to really pursue that full time, I didn't do that. It was an interesting decision. Like it wasn't my most passionate decision. Like like acting brought a certain sense of excitement.
Right.
I made a decision there because I went from Sri Lanka in 2019, wanting to create economic security for my family as well. Right. So give ourselves an option.
Yeah.
And to me, if I pursued acting, it had the potential to be something great, but it had a higher sort of maybe a risk factor.
Correct. That makes sense.
And I also like I studied like mechatronics, engineering, finance, economics, and those public
cool.
you need. And I didn't finish it. Right.
Okay.
I went to my 3rd year. I didn't go into my 4th year. I dropped out. I went to drama school, acting school. There's a word for it.
I love this.
Yeah, dismay. Dismay is the word, right? Because they thought I was like supposed to be this really smart kid,
Yeah.
So when I went to London, I chose to work in a tech company. Some luck as well, in the sense my cousin has a tech company in London.
Nice.
So I reached out to him, and like I said, I'm in London and I'm looking for work. And then he said, well, he knew of my sales background because I did sales. I did door-to-door sales in Sydney, like right after drama school. Like street fundraising. Because I was poor in drama school.
Right.
Like not necessarily because like I'm quite fortunate and privileged. I had a pretty comparatively like a comfortable life. But then, in drama school I had to like you probably should, like pay for things yourself and figure things out to some extent, right?
Yeah.
Still, as an Australian, I got government support and all of that. But I had to at least manage the support.
Yeah.
So I can't say I had to hustle too hard for it. It's just that undergrad, I was privileged.
Yeah.
It was quite a lavish life.
Yeah.
And then drama school, that wasn't the case. So, things were like pretty trimmed down and you had managed all that. So, like me and my brother, we were living in this apartment, and then, you come back home, you make your, one pot of rice and one rice and then one chicken curry, and then it's for 4 days, but we did one, right? And then noodles and that's what you're doing. And then you can't, like, every time someone's going out, you don't have money. And so I just went after drama school, and I had this thing because I dropped out of university. I wanted to, I guess, prove something to myself.
Right. Makes sense.
That I could earn the money.
Yeah.
And so I went and did this door-to-door sales job. Yeah, so all of those experiences
That's a tough job.
Yeah.
especially as a brown guy.
No, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like in the sense there are challenges. I had a great time in Australia.
Ah,
I had a lot of experiences where I had to face like some people are really badly affected by it.
right.
So it's not fair to like take that away from those who are affected by it.
Yeah, yeah.
But in my case, because I guess I've got some gift of the gab. So and I won't take shit, like and
Right.
so if someone dished it out to me, like I dish it back.
yeah, yeah.
And interestingly, at least at the levels that I experienced it in Australia, like if you dished it back, they'd be like, "Oh man, that's cool, bro," and then they'll respect you.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any issues there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in London. London is more tricky. Racism is strong in my opinion. Like it's more politically incorrect to be racist in London. At least when I was there. But you experience it more. Like you feel a sense of hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like you gotta find yourself at the table and like to get your place at this table. You gotta kind of like cut through something, and sometimes that's like you gotta dress a certain way. You gotta prove a certain part.
Right.
It's a bit less so like that in Australia.
Right.
You can just you can talk things and you can hustle and you're there.
Yeah.
Did this kind of tech thing
Tech thing.
in London,
Yeah.
and then came back, was looking for a tech company to work with, found these guys, so got into construction and tech.
Wow.
Long answer.
Really.
I guess we're on a podcast. Yeah,
That's the end of it.
yeah, done. That's us. 20 minutes and we're out.
We're so excited to share with you all the episodes that we filmed in Sri Lanka. We know a lot of you have been waiting, but we wanted to make sure that we did this really meaningfully because it really was an exciting time. When Sheran first came to me and said he was going to take the podcast to Sri Lanka, I honestly thought he was crazy.
And so did I. I was like, is there any possibility we can fit this in? I want to try to bring the podcast there and get to know people and interview creatives.
So we expected to have just a few conversations, maybe a little sparks of inspiration here and there, but what happened was so much deeper than that. We met so many people that not only you got to interview, but that also like came alongside us to help make these conversations happen.
The crazy thing was this daring idea of going to a country, even though I'm from Sri Lanka. I hadn't been back for like 7 years. And all I knew was some people from school that I went to and some on social media that I've been following, but didn't really have a concrete plan to make it happen. And some days we had 6-7 episodes back to back recorded because people were waiting and you were kind of facilitating that.
Yeah, so it felt really significant because not only was it that we were having like these raw and authentic conversations, but a lot of their stories resonated with Sheran's, and so it just was really fascinating to see them speaking the same language and to see like just this commonality of creativity and identity and purpose coming out as the themes of these conversations.
You must be wondering when this trip happened. It happened in September, and the goal was to get these episodes out by December or last year. Well, a lot of things happened, and I didn't want to diminish the work we put in, and again, the amazing guests that we've had. So we decided to do something really cool, and we're gonna post however many we can a week.
So linked in every single episode, you'll find a free PDF. It's actually a magazine that we developed. You can kind of think of it like if you go to a concert and you get like the souvenir of what happened behind the scenes and just about the different artists and all those things. We wanted to share with you not only about Sheran's journey, but then help you connect with some of the guests that we interview in Sri Lanka, and then invite you on your own creative odyssey.
Yes, there's so much more that goes into or that fuels this podcast, which is this mission to inspire people to create so that they can get to know themselves and connect with their inner child. So to see that we could bring that story out of Sri Lankan creatives, a wide, diverse range of creatives, was definitely a highlight.
Our hope is that whether you're living in the States, you're living in Sri Lanka, or somewhere else around the world, you'll connect with someone's story within Sri Lanka, and it might inspire you to continue on your own creative odyssey.
The link to the PDF of the magazine is in the description, and please check it out. They're doing really cool things that I really think you should be checking out to see their journeys. So without further ado, let's get to the episode.
So, would you say the tech company was more based on inspiration?
It was based on one, a need for me to satisfy, because I did mechatronics. I did maths for A levels.
No way.
I did mechatronics at uni. So there's that technical sort of engineering side. And I function in my optimum when my life has both the like technical, analytical stuff going on as well as creative. So I needed to have like some technical, even if I was doing sales,
Yeah.
I felt like I needed some more technical negotiation kind of thing in my life. And to use this, I guess what we people call the left brain,
Yeah.
be like this analytical side of me.
Okay.
I so a bit of that, and where the world's going, all of these things combined, I got into tech.
Cool.
Yeah, and just chance maybe, because of I got offered a tech opportunity as well. Like I was thinking along these lines.
Yeah.
My cousin said, "Hey man, you're in sales. Like, hey, let's do tech sales." So okay, cool.
Brilliant. I like the
Yeah,
whole. Sorry, I like the whole concept of the left and right. I think like even the logo here. Like I want to talk about creativity from that point of view. Like people need to, even the people who use the left side need to be able to use the right side. Like that needs to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I love that you brought that up. So
I think that's in in a humble way. I think from, because I'm saying like that's where I function the optimum, right? I've had periods where I'm more like sort of I try to be more like, again, I don't really know whether the brain really works like this, but like do more like left brain activities in my life, or then other times in my life where it's all like right brain stuff. Like for me, the optimum is when these are in balance. Like for me, right? I need a bit of both. Like if I'm zero creative,
yeah,
like life, I become like a zombie.
Yep.
If I'm all analytical, like zero creative, all analytical, it's like, whoa, I literally look like a zombie. And then if I'm like zero analytical, all creative, also like it also like kind of throws me off balance, and I'm not satisfied. But I'm satisfied when I let those energies kind of meet and simmer and do its thing.
I think there are studies that backs that up actually. So I'm gonna like maybe put it on here somewhere. But that's kind of where you and I connect here. I was a musician growing up. I was in choir and orchestra and all these things. And I kind of understood this narrative that as long as I do my studies, you can do these hobbies type of thing. And I, from a young age, kind of took it as I'm not smart enough. I should only stick to what I know. And so I became a chef for 9 years. And that decision was based off of like, I can't do anything else. I'm not smart enough. Let's pick a safe field. And I was good at cooking when I was young anyway. So I was like, this is fun anyways. And I was really good at it. I only gave up on it just because of the bureaucracy and I wanted to work for myself. I figured out what I'm passionate about. So now I'm at a space where the business I run and I do my creative stuff. I need to have a balance of both. I cannot just be creative all the time. I need to have the analytical stuff. So when you said that, I completely agree with you. That's like my synergy as well. So that's cool that we connect on that. That's why I was like, I've been following your journey ever since you were on Facebook, obviously. Yeah, just like I've seen you do your thing, and I'm like, that's cool. Like, I mean, I knew you were doing theater stuff when you were young, so like, for me to see you going the acting route was super cool to see that, and I saw you like winning awards and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then like we recently connected, and you're like, oh, I'm in this side too. I'm like, wow, that's even cooler. Yeah,
It doesn't always like some of my friends, a lot of my ex-girlfriends, like struggle to understand this side of me. Like I've got a plan, but it doesn't make sense to a lot of people,
exactly.
and that's okay.
Yes.
And yeah, it's okay. And for some, it like lacks ambition in some sense,
Yeah.
because they can't see it.
Right.
Like it lacks ambition in the way they'd have it.
Yes.
But then it is very ambitious in a different way.
Yeah.
And then for others, like the plans, like way ambitious, right? It's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
And like for example, with my like I 4 or 5 years, 3, 4 years ago, 2022, 2023, when I said I'm going to go back to Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to, you know, build on the construction side, and then B, do the tech thing, like, and then also do my drama, right? For many people, and there is truth to what they're saying. Oh, you got to pick one thing, and then you got to be like my grandfather used to say to me, the jack of all trades is the master of none. Um, and but there's another part to this ghost, right? Yes, which I recently found out. But like when I said this, like it was wishful thinking to people.
Yeah.
But to me, I had experience, like, in whether it's in acting, whether it's in construction, whether it's in tech, whatever you're doing, right? Things are cyclical,
Yes.
right? And I had been part of the family business and seen the construction industry. You go through like cycles. Like there's a cycle where it's booming, and then like you have no time to do anything but that.
Yes.
But then we are a down period. What do you do in that period, right?
Exactly.
Like unless you can obviously improvise into other markets, and there are things to do for sure. But the business here itself, like, is a down period. And then I work in sales, right? So I'm not a developer. So I can give ideas on what to build and so on.
Mhm.
But then even in tech, right, there's a development cycle. So right now we have a product at a tech company, and then we're a go-to-market stage, right?
Mhm.
So there is a lot of work for me to do now,
Yes.
right? But in the last 2 years, yes, there was work for me to do, but those are like, intro, like touching conversations, figuring things out.
Yes.
Where do we feel like, but now we've got something more concrete. You can take that bull by the horn and then run with it, right? So now I'm required more here. But then last 2 years, even if I was trying to like do things there, I'll just be like getting frustrated because there's not much I can do. You're just like burning energy.
Right.
Even from my previous time at the family business, I noticed like I have a lot of energy. If I plug all that into that business, I'm just frustrated because that business is not moving at that pace. So now here today we are, and both of those things have kind of gone to a certain level,
Mm.
and it's because I chose both of those things. The third one, the acting one, has taken a hit.
Yeah.
It's like because I just haven't had enough time to focus on that.
It's not
But
the
also,
end of it, right?
but also, yeah, maybe it is.
That's what I mean. Like I think to say that's what I'm saying. If you don't say it's the end, it's done now. Like it's always an option to go back if you feel the need, right?
It is, but it's also like it's okay if it's done,
Right.
because like I think we find it immensely hard to let go of things,
That's true.
and then you like the journey. Like death is a part of the journey,
Yeah.
right? If things don't die, there ain't no beauty,
Right.
right? So and you as a individual, you're constantly dying.
Yeah.
Like versions of you are dying.
Yes.
And for whatever version of you to emerge, that other, like maybe the core of you
Yeah.
doesn't, right? But then like, yeah, the parts of you just keep I guess reinventing.
Yeah.
And as I had to create person, I'd have kept on reinventing parts of myself.
Absolutely.
And I've had like my friends call me like Biman, like 1.0, 2.6, 3.0, 4.4. I think they now say it's a Biman 5.2 or something like that. I had different phases, and then you keep going. Really,
I think that like you leave the option open to evolve and grow, right? And like even whatever you're doing now could technically be at one point that's you would feel the same way you feel about acting. I mean, it's like having that possibility open, right? Where nothing is concrete. Like this is my identity now, type of thing, right? That's what I understood from you. Like this was like, oh, I want to try and see what happens, and like that to me is kind of a bold thing, and like I want to encourage that. Is you have evolved so much, and if you kind of stuck to this one thing, you would not be very red.
I've evolved in some sense. In some sense, I'm very issue. That's trying to evolve in some areas of my life. Yeah, just don't talk to my friends either. I have to say, wait, there are other mistakes.
What are some of the challenges you have faced as you kind of gone on this journey? And what have you learned from those?
So, like, one of the immediate things that come to my mind is people saying, pick one thing, which I get, but I made a decision like about 2 years ago. I said, people saying this to mommy go. Yeah. Right. So, yeah. Right. I don't have to live this life. Yeah. We'll live it my way. All right. Wow. Yeah, so, and, yeah, that was one of the best decisions. Like, I'm part of a great tech company. We were selected with like venture engineer. It's like Sri Lankan startup program, we got selected. Our company like out of like hundreds of companies. I think top 10 finalists and it like many great companies there, right? So and got a great response that we got something pretty substantial, something that could be a unicorn here. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Touch wood. Yeah. There's a lot of work to be done, and hopefully, in 10 years from now, we made that journey.
Yeah.
And I have I have a part to play and a piece of that because of going like fuck up. That's how I'm gonna do it. And then things are not great in the construction space, but we've made some recovery.
Yeah.
Right. And we're doing decent projects. We're painting the central bank next door.
Wow.
We're doing some work at the it's called N Chandraratne Decorators.
Okay.
NCD. So it's going to be 45 years in the next month. And we're doing work with John Keels. So a business that wasn't like 2 years ago, it was in pretty bad shape. Still, it's not an easy road ahead. It's still rough. But, we've held on and things are, going in a better direction. And that's all because, I did it my way. Well, with other people, I didn't like, when I say do it my way, good. But I'm not operationally involved in either of these companies. So they are the people like that shouldering this and driving this. Credit to all of them,
For sure.
But for me to play my role, yeah, you carved your path. Yeah, somewhat,
100%, I think so. And
I think it's super. So Eric, that was one, like lessons, right? Yeah. I don't know, man.
I think that's a good lesson.
And like, just try to. There's a. It's hard to do this thing, which is even that decision came out of this thing where we've all got like this intuitive like thing that like it comes from like here,
Yeah.
and then it links up with your head, right? And then when you find synergy between it's not easy to find it sometimes. When you find synergy there and acting on that, that gives your life the, I think, most profound result unique to you. So listening to that, and trying to move in sync with that, that's been a challenge. But yeah, I think I'm getting, and it's relevant to what you're saying with the whole logo and everything, and the balance we spoke of.
Yeah. So let me end the podcast with this final question. How does one listen to that intuition, according to your experience?
Oh, tough one. Yeah, I think you're always talking to you. See, why is it going so fast? And I thought you was really fast. And then like it was a strange thing that happened, right? Where our emotions got caught up in it, and it got flared, and then it got bust, right? All happened in this like a very fast span of like a month. And like it sounds like immature and silly when I say like all that happened in a month. But in that process, I kind of noticed like inside me was this inner child that like some like a little word, like little me, mini me, and saying, "Love me, all right, love." And like what it like, it's not even saying that, but it's like wanting this love and affection. And I saw that, and I said, yeah, there's a child like wants love. And then she's like, well, and she's like, I can't even love myself, bro. I can't love you as your child. And fair enough. And I got that, like someone else can't do that for you.
Yes.
Maybe you can meet someone who can hold some space for that, right?
Right.
But then the bigger, it's on you. Like, like people like that, the world is loving, the world is kind, it does exist in the world, but you got to show up for yourself and then do that work for yourself, like hold that space. We all have love, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we've got pain and all that. Once we sit through that pain, we have love inside us.
Yeah.
And when we discover that love, first we can share the love from here with ourselves and then expand out for everyone.
Yeah.
So that's been a big victory.
That I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. Biman, dude, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thanks, man.
I know you're a busy guy, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, I think more and more, if we've been checking out our podcast and hearing these stories, especially happening in Sri Lanka, I think it's super cool to say that, like, especially what Biman has gone through as far as evolving, I think is so important than listening to yourself and connecting with yourself. And if you don't listen, you go that shit crazy. And then eventually you learn.
And sometimes if you listen too much to yourself as well, you got to find the right balance.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You got to be wise about who you listen to and how you listen to, and even if that's yourself,
Absolutely. Yeah. All I gotta say is keep dreaming, keep creating, and keep going on your own creative odyssey. Till next time, see you later.